I've made millions of dollars in real estate wholesaling and I started with $0. So in this video, I'm showing you how to do it too. So first things first, what is real estate wholesaling? Wholesaling is simply the process where you have a contract with a seller, preferably off the market. You can wholesale on the market. I prefer not to because I don't want to have to deal with real estate agents and all the red tape that comes with wholesaling on the market. So I wholesale off the market by marketing to homeowners looking for the people who want to sell without putting it on the market. They don't want to pay realtor commissions. They don't want the hassle of putting on the market. They just want the easy way. Wholesalers and investors are already marketing to these people. So by the time I get to the house, most of the time I am competing against other offers and other investors. And that's fine because I already know that I need to talk to this many people to do this many deals. But the point is, a lot of these sellers are already being approached by cash buyers, and they generally have an idea that they definitely don't want to go on the market. Sometimes they're weighing the options of what does it look like if they list versus selling to an investor. In the situations where the sellers are looking for some help, I provide it, and I give a ton of value to those sellers so that either way, whether they list or off-market cash offer, they're working with me. But we find these sellers who would rather sell off the market to an investor rather than go on the market. We make them a cash offer at a price that we know an investor would buy it at, and then we sell that contract to one of our investors for an assignment fee. It basically looks like this. I'm the wholesaler. I go to Bob the seller. I say, hey Bob, I'm willing to pay $300,000 for your house. Does that work? By the way, Bob's house needs about $100,000 worth of work, and it'll be worth around $550,000 when it's done. I know that because I did my homework on the property, just looking at comparables around the area, which are similar homes that were flipped and sold nearby. Bob's house is 2,000 square feet, and at $50 a foot, that's $100,000 in rehab. And 2 blocks down from Bob's house, a very similar layout home was flipped and sold for $550,000. $550,000 times 80%, which is the margin that flippers like to buy at, is $440,000 minus that rehab cost is $340,000. So if an investor is willing to pay $340,000 and I offer Bob $300,000, that's a $40,000 assignment fee for me. But maybe Bob says, that's way too low. I need at least $320,000. So I say, okay, I think I can do $320,000. I just need a 14-day inspection period to walk some contractors through to make sure I can make good on the price. But after that, I can close in 2 weeks or less. And Bob says, sounds good to me. So we sign a purchase and sale agreement at $320,000, and then I go to my buyers, like my buyer Steve, who I found on a Facebook investing group. He's an active investor in the area, and I say, hey Steve, I have this deal for sale for $340,000. You want to buy it? I take Steve to Bob's house to check out the property. Steve likes the deal and he says, okay, I'll buy it for $340,000. So then I sign an assignment agreement assigning my contract with Bob over to Steve, and now Steve is the buyer. The assignment contract says that Steve is paying $340,000 and my sales agreement still says Bob is getting $320,000. So I take those two contracts, I give them to the escrow company, and then they go to work preparing the closing documents, getting Steve's $340,000, sending Bob his $320,000, and then they wire me the $20,000 assignment fee. I have put $0 into the deal. I have put zero risk into the deal. I was protected by an inspection period with Bob, and in 30 days or less, I made $20,000. Now, you probably have a ton of questions at this point, but remember two things. Number one, wholesaling is simple, and number two, there's going to be a lot of FAQ at the end of this video. So stick around because now I'm going to show you how to find Bobs with no marketing budget. All right, party people, here's the deal. When you're thinking about finding off-market sellers, and if you're a real estate agent, you already have some experience with this, you know what the deal is. It is 100% necessary to go out and do the dirty work of finding the people. There's no other way around it. Right here is where all our deals come from, and 52% of them come from cold calling owners. If you saw my other video on the best method for real estate wholesaling, that's the one that requires a little bit of budget because we're pulling big lists and we're buying dialers. It's still not a ton of money into marketing, but it's a good little chunk, and it's what I always recommend is you pull a list on Property Radar, throw it into a dialer, and go to town. But here's the thing, and this is where these two strategies can be combined depending on how much time and money you have. It is simply about finding people who want to sell their house. So when we're talking about finding fixers to wholesale, step one to do it with no money is to identify those fixer properties and start building your list. Property Radar is what we use. It's most accurate, it's the easiest to use, and it has the best deal on skip tracing, which is buying those owner phone numbers at scale. But if you don't want to invest in Property Radar just yet, then you have two options. Number one is to build your Driving for Dollars list. This is simply going out into your neighborhoods and finding those fixer properties, taking down the addresses in your phone, taking pictures of them and noting the addresses. Your phone can track the locations where you took the pictures, right? I would even make a private Snapchat story or an Instagram story where I take a picture of the house and then I write the address down and put it on there so that all of my properties on my Driving for Dollars list were in one place. place. Now, gas is expensive, so what you can do is virtually drive for dollars. I would say Google Street View is generally pretty accurate, so you can drop down what I call B and C neighborhoods, which are areas where there are a lot of old houses, but a lot of flips, and they're not the best areas, but they're not the worst areas. So very prime for investing, like in Seattle, South King County, Pierce County, some of Snohomish County are all really great areas for wholesaling. I always say you can find deals anywhere, but as far as maximizing your time and efforts, go into those B and C areas, those high demand, basically where people want to live and where there's a lot of people living. So you want to go down the street here and start looking for these fixer properties. Like this one right here is actually one that we wholesaled. You can kind of tell it just doesn't look great. It's got peeling paint on the siding, general disrepair. Overgrown lawns are really good signs, tarps on the roof, older windows, dilapidated buildings, etc. I want to go for 300 to 500 at a time, especially if I'm driving the neighborhoods myself or walking, biking them, whatever you're doing. Get a list of around 500 properties. Once you have that list, this is the free way. You go to truepeoplesearch.com and you go to address search and you put the address in. Let's see who lives at 123 Main Street. You put the address in and then it spits out all of these owner names and addresses. And if you go down, their phone numbers. So then you can call them up. You can use the script. So build your list, True People search the addresses, call up the people. If you can't find their phone numbers, you can pay for skip tracing services like Batch Skip. They charge like 12 to 15 cents a lead. So if you want to, you can pay for it. I would go for the phone number, call them up. If they don't answer, then I'll go knock on the door. If no one's home or it's abandoned, then I will mail to the owner's address. Because sometimes if it's a rental, then they don't live there. You want to find the tax address on the tax record. This is what I write when I'm mailing out to buy a house myself. This is inside my Wholesaler Academy. I post bonus content like that all the time. So if you're looking for some coaching on wholesaling, this is nationwide. Wholesaler Academy, link will be down below. Plug is over. So that's one way to build your list is by driving for dollars and taking down those addresses yourself. A free way to build a mass list, if you say, I don't want to do this, I just want to find every house that's been owned forever and they're old houses, because there has to be a way to just pull some data from the county of houses that have been owned for 20 years or more, and the houses are 1990 built or older. Envelo is a free list builder. So what you can do in here is go over to the list builder, zoom in on the area that you want to work. I recommend 2 to 3 cities at a time, around 5-ish zip codes. I know that South King County is really great, so let me build a little list right here. Let's just do this triangle. So what you do is you pick your area, then you go to filters, and OMG, there's Envelo presets. We can just click right here, high equity. So we got property info, equity percentage, 50 to 100%. That means they own their house more than half outright. They don't have much loan on it. And then they have length of residence. I am going to go for 10 plus years. So I'm going to get rid of all of these. And I'm going to go 10 plus years. This is good property type, single family and multifamily. I don't want condos or commercial or anything like that. So property type is good. And then you're built before 2000. Sure, let's take it. We also have occupied status, whether it's owner occupied or a rental. I would probably take this off. I don't mind if it's a rental. And then owner type individual. So this is filtering out all of the corporate owned properties. So when I apply, I've got 1,400 properties. That's perfect. And they have pictures of them. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So then I can just work right inside here, open it up. When I see the picture of the house and it looks really shitty, I can just hit add to list, add it to my list, and then I can go to the next. And if it's nice, then like this one, that looks really nice. I probably don't want to mess with that one. I'll just skip it. Now, what I will do is just pull this entire list. And then I'll go in, I'll go one by one, and I'll take the address, I'll put it into True People Search, I'll get the phone number, I'll call them up, use my script. Hey, do you plan on selling? Nope. All right, cool. Next. Hey, do you plan on selling? All right, cool. Next. We're wholesaling for free, and we're making $30,000 checks, so it's going to be some work. Now, I'm calling 3 hours a day, calling through the list. My golden rule is if you talk to 50 people a day, then within 90 days, there is no way in hell that you don't create some opportunities for yourself. There's no way you don't meet with some sellers sellers, have some good conversations, sign some contracts, because even if you don't do those things, you're going to learn a shit ton. Imagine if you commit to this starting today for 90 days, that you're talking to 50 owners a day. You're going to learn so much and you're going to create so many opportunities for yourself. You're probably just going to have an entire wholesale business at the end of the 90 days. So talk to people who don't answer, go knock on the door, go have the conversation. There's a door knocking script in here. Boom, right there, all the tips and tricks. Yes, we'll do a door knocking YouTube video. If they don't answer on the door knock, leave them a sticky note that says something like that. I've gotten many a callback on these because people are curious about the weird sticky note that got left on their house. Mail them a letter as well, and if nothing happens, just move on to the next. Okay, so we made a list, we prospected the list, we're talking to 50 owners a day. Vena, what happens when someone actually says yes? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because the freest thing in the world is to go out and build your network with other investors. So if I had a deal where it's a house in my neighborhood and I called the owner and they're actually thinking about selling, and I just had a conversation with them and they were like, yeah, I'll probably be open to selling, just call me back later, then I'm going to start freaking out because I don't know what to do next. So what I will do is I'm going to go to Facebook and I'm going to search up Washington real estate investing. And wow, look at all these groups of real estate investors in Washington. Oh, you're in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin? Okay, Wisconsin real estate investing. Wow, 7,900 members. That's 7,900 people that I could join this group and be like, hey, I have this deal that I'm looking to JV or joint venture with someone. Is anyone down to help me? Now, here's the thing, especially with real estate groups, you don't know who you can trust with your leads, right? And here's what I'll say about that. Put a message out, maybe DM a few people who you can see on here are doing a bunch of deals. Go for the opportunity and see if someone will be willing to analyze this deal with you, meet the seller with you, put the property under contract with you, buy it from you, or sell it to an investor with you. If they don't end up helping you, find someone else. If they do screw you and steal your deal, you just learn not to work with that person again, and you learn the red flags to watch out for. And hello, there's going to be another deal. So get your list, start your prospecting, build your network, and you can build a wholesale business with $0 in 90 days or less. And if you're someone who really benefits from live coaching and supportive community, I invite you to check out my Wholesaler Academy. I am on here 3 times a week live teaching real estate skills, helping you practice your script and talking to sellers, and doing wholesale Q&A. My courses are in here. You can check out all of our past calls and everything we've gone over. And I'm working on a fancy schmancy shiny new wholesale playbook with every single little itty bitty thing you need to start wholesaling in your backyard and making these big checks, because I want you to make your first $100,000 in wholesaling real estate so that you can invest into real estate, build generational wealth, and create a better life for you, your future, your family, etc. Link is down below. I'll see you in the next one.